introduction to the sine and cosine, we're going to use a circus Ferris wheel to represent the sine and cosine graph. So if you look at one of the white cars, it goes up and down vertically. That's going to be the sine graph. And it also moves horizontally. That's going to be represented by the cosine graph. The red dot here represents the car as it goes to 1 and then to -1. So it forms a circle as it goes round. Obviously, a Ferris wheel is a circle. And we've given it the equation x squared plus y squared equals 1. And we'll show you the horizontal and vertical height. In this animation, the red line shows the vertical line, the vertical height, and you see it's negative from 180 to 360, but the vertical height is positive when the angle is 0, moving around to over 90, angle moving to 180, moving around to 270, then back to 360 again. So just to emphasize, the dot on the left shows the height as it goes up and down. So we'll have a look at the angle. Starting at now, the angle goes from 0 to 90, it reaches 1, from 90 to 180 degrees, then from 180 to 270 it goes to -1 and back to 0. So here you can see the progression of the sine graph. So the sine graph that's produced on the right is measured by the height of the white car as it goes around, and so it produces. So starting this curve, starting at 0, it goes up to 1, and then at 90 degrees, then down to 0 to 180 degrees. Then as the car goes around to 270 degrees, the Ferris wheel rather, we get to -1 and back up to 360. So that gives you a visual representation to help you understand the sine graph. So this graph is on Desmos and it shows the sine of the angle. As the angle increases up to 90, you get to 1 and then it decreases. So it's just showing you all the functions in rapid motion. And of course it goes on beyond 360 as the Ferris wheel continues to go around. We just add the angle over 360. So the sine graph continues on and on in waves, and the waves have a period of 360 degrees before they start repeating. This is a similar graph for the cosine. Now the cosine graph is the horizontal distance. And so the cosine graph at 0 degrees actually starts at 1. So we're looking at this length along the bottom. It starts at 1. Then the cosine graph decreases down to 0 at 90 degrees. It goes to -1, the maximum at 180 degrees, at 270, back to 0, and of course ends at 360 degrees at one length. The cosine graph looks very similar to the sine graph. Again, this red line is plotted by the distance along here, showing this is a negative distance, and then goes to positive. Now, time always runs to the right. That's why we don't have a graph going like that. That's not a function. And that's our cosine graph. It continues on also. And on Desmos, we have an animated function here of the cosine of the angle. And you can see it goes up and down in waves. Again, 1 and -1 being the maximum and minimum. So cosine and sine graphs are very similar. They continue on.